been waiting to find out more about the people who had apparently requested a pardon from Donald Trump after what happened on January 6th. And the stakes are high in that because anyone doing so appears to be communicating that they knew that either they had committed some illegal act or at least a plausible case could be made that they had. So another name can apparently be added to that list, as you'll see in this clip.
Dr. Eastman's email stated, quote, "I've decided that I should be on the pardon list, if that is still in the works." Dr. Eastman did not receive his presidential pardon.
That's a shame. So that's former White House lawyer John Eastman, who, as with others like Sidney Powell, was tied up with so much of the effort to overturn the election. And one of the things he wanted to, coming out of the Trump presidency as like a going away president, was a pardon. For what specifically, we don't know. Maybe it wasn't intended to be specific. Maybe it was supposed to be just a pardon for anything having to do with the election. And he could make the case, if he actually admitted to this, and he had not come forward and done so, that he was just worried about a witch hunt. It wasn't about any actual crimes that had been committed. But okay, well, we can find out what the American people think about that, about Congress people and lawyers who had been asking for pardons, whether they got them or not. Brett, what do you think?
I mean, all of that is true. It is true that Eastman knew what he's doing. He admitted that what he was doing would lose in the Supreme Court, 9-0. All of Trump's, all the White House lawyers, they all thought that. He was kind of speaking for any reasonable person. Something that Pence said they should all belong in a rubber room because these are the ideas that they're coming up with. And it is true that that's just the dominant strategy for someone working for Trump, is that you would seek a pardon because you know that you have kind of, I guess here's an interesting way to put it, right? Normally, they would just think, all right, I'm just doing lawyer stuff. There's no way I'd be in trouble. I'm just being a lawyer. I'm just advocating on the part of the, like, what my interpretation of the law is. But even a scum-sucking lawyer like this dude was like, what I'm doing is so evil and obviously wrong. And there's recording devices and people here who I know as soon as the wind blows the other way are gonna rat me out. So even then he's like, I need a ultimate get out of jail free card.
Yep.
And afterwards, they know that they'll just spin it as, oh, I've used the witch hunt card before, and baked into this idea that if you ask people if there's criminal activity going on, they're just doing a calculus. Am I a small enough fish to throw in, to fry?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got to be worried that like perhaps he's not influential enough to evade consequences in the way that like a Trump would. Yeah, we'll see. But what I did find interesting too, though, yesterday was revealed that he apparently did respond to the question that we've been asking the proponents of the big lie from the very beginning. If you think Pence could have overturned the election, doesn't that conceivably apply to other VPs? And you'll be surprised to find out he doesn't actually think so.
He had come into that meeting trying to persuade us that there was some validity to his theory. I viewed it as my objective to persuade him to acknowledge he was just wrong. And I thought this had to be one of the most powerful arguments. I mean, John, back in 2000, you weren't jumping up and saying Al Gore had this authority to do that. You would not want Kamala Harris to be able to exercise that kind of authority in 2024 when I hope Republicans will win the election. And I know you hope that too, John. And he said, absolutely. Al Gore did not have a basis to do it in 2000. Kamala Harris shouldn't be able to do it in 2024, but I think you should do it today.
And that is so revelatory, like especially because they gave him the two comparisons. Now, he might say, well, wait, I'm not saying that Al Gore couldn't have done it constitutionally. I said he doesn't have the basis to do it, like there's no cause. Okay, fine, that might be what you meant about Al Gore. But when it's looking forward to Kamala Harris, he just said she shouldn't be allowed to do it. That's not that there's not good cause. We don't know. This is a hypothetical. This is in the future. It's just that, look, it is exactly what we think it was. And us saying that they should be asked the question isn't because we think they will finally crumble against that indisputable hypocrisy. It is just that, it's hypocrisy. They're not saying that Pence could have done it because they think he actually could have and Kamala Harris shouldn't be able to because she actually can't. They want to be in power and they will say literally anything that is necessary to do so. There is nothing more substantive or tethered to reality to it than that. It has nothing to do with the law, with Constitution, with ethics, with like consistency, nothing. They just liked the idea that Trump would still be president.
Yeah, the framers did a good job designing America so that they could stop Donald Trump from what they stopped him from doing. That is a success. So much of our government is to stop bad people from doing bad things, because it would just take so many bad people to completely corrupt the government. Just the way that it's like, cantilevered or whatever, like everybody's like weighed against each other. You have to get so many people agreeing. Like the Polish government's the only one that needs that much more agreement to do anything back before the World War II. Like you had to have unanimous agreement in the Duma or whatever their parliament was. Like it takes so much. And when they designed America's system, they did it in a way that explicitly forbids Donald Trump from doing that. And what's interesting about, just let's take it and put it in terms that any human being could understand. In comparison between Al Gore and Mike Pence, if for those two things to be remotely similar, even you would need a situation where Beau Biden is still alive and he is the governor of Pennsylvania, and Jill Biden, or Joe Biden's brother, is the governor of Georgia. Like that's how corrupt it was. George Bush's brother was the governor of Florida at the time, and all the weird, sketchy stuff that we found out actually did happen was happening in Florida.
Yeah.
And do you think for a second? So those are the two, like, what if the shoe's on the other foot kind of thing. It's, on the one hand, it would take so much more corruption in all those states, all of which are Republican, and said, no, it's fine. Donald Trump lost. And then, and then to look and say, okay, so next time Kamala Harris can literally be caught on tape saying, wouldn't it be cool if we just made up a bunch of corruption that didn't actually happen and decided that we're president again and also we're king? Like that's what Trump's looking for, and that's what I can't believe set in. And Fox News is so desperate for ratings that they will throw all of America out just so that they can, suck up to Trump.
Yeah, ratings and the political power that in theory their dominance will bring. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.